The wind whispers across the Heartland ranch, carrying memories of a love that once filled every corner of the valley. Years have passed since Ty Borden's laughter echoed through those barns, since his hands worked beside Amy's under the wide Alberta sky. Yet, on one quiet morning, something feels different. The horses stir restlessly, the dogs bark at the distance, and Amy standing by the paddock feels it in her heart. The feeling she thought she'd buried long ago. Ty is near. But how can that be? The man she loved is gone. Isn't he? The sun rises over the Heartland ranch, soft and golden, spreading warmth across the fields that once held so many stories. Amy Fleming stands by the old fence, her hands resting on the wormwood, eyes lost somewhere far away. Life has gone on, but the silence around her speaks of everything that changed since Ty's passing. The ranch feels heavier now, quieter. Every creak of the barn door, every neigh of the horses carries a memory. It's as if the land itself remembers him. Since Ty's death, Amy has tried to fill her days with purpose. Training horses, helping others heal, the way he once helped her. But behind her calm face lies a quiet ache that refuses to fade. Sometimes, when she closes her eyes, she can still hear his voice. Not clearly, just faint echoes that come and go with the wind. She tells herself it's just her imagination, but her heart knows better. Grief doesn't vanish. It changes shape, hides beneath the surface, waiting for moments like this to resurface. Life at Heartland has moved in slow motion. Jack still fixes the fences. Lou manages the family's endless responsibilities. And Lindy, Amy and Ty's daughter, is growing fast. She's curious, full of questions, and sometimes, when she laughs, Amy sees flashes of Ty's smile in her. It's both a comfort and a wound. Every time Lindy asks about her father, Amy's heart breaks a little more, not because she doesn't have an answer, but because every word feels too small for the love they shared. Georgie, once the wild and fearless girl who found her place in this family, has been away chasing her dreams in Europe. She rides for international shows now, living a life filled with medals, lights, and applause. But distance can't hide the truth. She misses home. She misses Amy, and deep down, she misses the man who helped her believe she was worth something. The man who showed her what family really means, Ty Borden. Yet, something about this new morning feels unlike any other. Amy can't explain it, but there's a strange pull in her chest. The air feels heavier, charged with something she hasn't felt in years, a mix of hope and fear. The kind of feeling that makes you stop and listen, as if the world is about to whisper a secret. She looks toward the old road that leads to the ranch gate. For a moment, the light catches on something, maybe just dust, maybe more. Amy brushes it off, shaking her head, but deep down, she knows this isn't just another day. Heartland has always been a place of second chances, of healing and hope. Maybe, just maybe, it's about to give her one more miracle, the one she never dared to imagine. Because sometimes life finds a way to bring back what we thought was lost forever. And in the stillness of that early morning, surrounded by the memories of a love that never truly left, Amy feels something stir, the beginning of a story that's been waiting to return. It starts with a sound. Soft at first, almost nothing, the quiet rhythm of hooves on gravel, carried by the morning wind. Amy pauses mid-step. For a moment, she thinks it's just one of the ranch horses wandering near the gate. But this sound, it's different. It's steady, familiar, almost comforting. Her breath catches. She turns her head slowly toward the old path, the same road where she once watched Ty ride home so many evenings, smiling, dusty, alive. But this time, she sees only a shadow. At first, it feels like her heart is playing tricks on her. Grief has a way of doing that, painting ghosts over empty air. Yet, the closer the figure comes, the more real it feels. The way he moves, the way the horse stops at the gate, calm, patient, just like Ty used to ride Spartan. Amy's pulse quickens. She can't move. The world narrows to the shape of that silhouette, to the sound of the reins, to the sudden rush of memories flooding back all at once. And then the stranger dismounts. He doesn't say a word. The wine carries the scent of rain and cedar, a scent that once clung to Ty's jacket. Amy feels her eyes sting. She takes a step forward, then another, until she's close enough to see the glint of light on his face. He's older, worn by time, but there's something hauntingly familiar in his eyes. That same quiet strength, that same peace that once grounded her. But how Ty is gone. She saw his grave. She lived through that pain. This can't be him. The man speaks softly, his voice rough and low. You've done well, Amy. Her heart stops. The tone, the rhythm, it's Ty's voice. Her breath trembles as she takes another step. The ranch, the trees, the sounds, everything fades into silence. For a moment, she isn't sure if she's awake or dreaming. Ty, she whispers, her voice breaking. The man only smiles, a small, knowing smile that feels like home. The shock ripples through her body. Part of her wants to run forward, to touch him, to believe it's real. But another part is terrified that this moment will shatter if she blinks. Every part of her mind screams that it's impossible, yet her heart refuses to let go. She remembers what Ty once said before he left. No matter what happens, Amy, you'll always find me in the horses, in the sky, in this land. Maybe this is what he meant. Maybe he's not really back. Maybe she's just seeing what her soul needs to see. Days pass, but the memory of that morning won't leave her. She tries to explain it away. Maybe it was a traveler, maybe her imagination. But strange things begin to happen. She finds Ty's old bracelet on the fence post, the one that disappeared years ago. Spartan neighs at the empty gate every dawn, as if waiting for someone. And at night, when Amy walks through the barn, the light flickers, just for a moment, and she feels a presence beside her. Not frightening, just familiar. Amy doesn't tell anyone. Not yet. How can she? Who would believe her? Heartland has seen its share of heartbreaks and miracles, but this feels like something beyond reason. And somewhere deep down, Amy begins to sense that this isn't just about her grief. It's about something unfinished, a message. A truth that Ty never got to share. One evening, as the sun dips behind the hills, she finds an envelope tucked beneath an old saddle, Ty's handwriting on the front. Her hands shake as she opens it. Inside is a letter, dated years ago, sealed with dust and time. The first line reads, "If you're reading this, Amy, I need you to know something about what really happened." Her heart pounds. She sits down, her eyes blurring with tears. Ty's voice echoes in her mind as she reads the words that will change everything she thought she knew about his death, about his choices, about why he left. The truth isn't what anyone expected. It isn't simple, and it isn't easy. But as Amy finished reading, she understands one thing clearly. Ty's return was never meant to be about the body. It was about the soul, about love refusing to stay silent, about unfinished goodbyes finally finding their voice. And in that moment, with the letter in her hands and the ranch bathed in twilight, Amy feels something powerful, peace. For the first time in years, she smiles through her tears. Because even if Ty isn't standing beside her, he's here. He's always been here. And maybe that's what Heartland has been trying to tell her all along. That love doesn't end, it only changes form. Amy sits alone in the barn, the letter trembling in her hands. The scent of hay and cedar fills the air, the same scent that once clung to Ty's clothes. She's read his words over and over, tracing each line as if the paper itself holds a heartbeat. But no matter how many times she reads them, the questions only grow louder. The letter speaks of unfinished things, a secret Ty had to keep, a truth he hoped she'd one day find. But what truth could be powerful enough to bridge life and death? What could possibly bring his presence back to Heartland after all these years? Outside, the wind howls softly through the valley, brushing against the barn doors. Amy looks up, feeling that strange pull again, that sense that she isn't alone. Her eyes wander to Spartan, standing quietly in his stall, his gaze fixed on her. The horse snored softly, and for a second, Amy swears she sees something in his eyes, calm, steady, familiar. It's the same look Ty gave her the day he promised they'd always find their way back to each other. The thought shakes her. She whispers to the empty air, "What are you trying to tell me, Ty?" The days that follow blur together. Amy goes through the motions, feeding the horses, fixing the fences, smiling when people visit, but inside, she's spinning in circles. Every sound makes her pause. Every gust of wind feels like a whisper. She dreams of him not as a ghost, but as if he's still alive, working beside her. In the dreams, Ty doesn't speak. He just watches, patient and kind, as if waiting for her to understand something she's missing. She starts to wonder if she's losing herself. Maybe it's the grief coming back, the pain she never really buried. Jack notices her quietness, Lou worries, and even little Lindy asks, "Mommy, why do you look sad when you smile?" Amy doesn't have an answer. How can she explain that she feels Ty everywhere and not haunting her, but guiding her? Every time she touches Spartan's reins, she feels his hand overlapping hers. Every time she walks the path to the gate, she feels footsteps beside her. And yet, no one else sees or hears a thing. One evening, Amy returns to the barn, unable to sleep. The moonlight spills through the open door, silver and soft. She picks up Ty's old jacket, the one she never had the courage to throw away. It still smells faintly like him. As she holds it close, something inside her breaks open. The tears come fast and quiet, falling onto the dusty floor. She whispers through her sobs, "If you're really here, please tell me what I'm supposed to do." A sudden gust of wind sweeps through the barn, making the hanging tools rattle. A paper slips from the jacket pocket, fluttering to the ground. Amy freezes. She picks it up with trembling fingers, another note, folded and faded. It's shorter than the letter, written in the same familiar handwriting. "If you ever feel lost, follow where the horses lead you. I'll meet you there." That's all it says. Simple, but enough to send a shiver down her spine. The next morning, Amy saddles Spartan and rides out across the fields. The air is crisp, the sky wide and endless. She doesn't know where she's going. She just lets Spartan choose the path. He leads her through the old trails, past the stream, toward the hills where she and Ty used to ride together. The further she goes, the stronger that feeling grows, that invisible thread between them tightening with every step. Finally, she stops at a clearing overlooking the valley. It's peaceful and touched. The same place where she and Ty once promised they'd build their future. Amy dismounts, tears blurring her vision as she looks around. Everything feels alive, the wind, the trees, the earth beneath her boots. And then, for the briefest moment, she sees him standing a few feet away, smiling. Not like a ghost or a dream, but real, solid, whole. Her breath catches. She doesn't move, afraid he'll vanish if she does. But instead of fading, the image of Ty stays, calm and still, his eyes full of love and understanding. And in that silence, she realizes something she's been blind to all along. He's not returning to her body or to her world. He's returning through her memories, her strength, and her love for him. He never truly left. He's been guiding her toward peace, helping her find her way back to life again. Amy closes her eyes, the tears falling freely now, but there's no pain in them. Only release. When she opens her eyes again, Ty is gone, but the emptiness that used to haunt her heart is gone too. The wine carries his warmth across her skin, and for the first time in years, she smiles, not because she's forgotten him, but because she finally understands. Love doesn't die. It simply changes shape, becoming the quiet force that helps us keep living. As the sun rises behind her, Amy mounts Spartan again. The road ahead is long, but her heart feels light. She whispers into the wind, "Thank you, Ty," and somewhere, carried by the air and the sound of hoofbeats, it feels like an answer comes back, soft, steady. And sure, always, the morning begins with the sound of hooves in the distance, not the heavy, slow rhythm of the ranch horses, but the fast, confident beat of a rider who knows exactly where she's headed. The valley hums softly as Georgie Fleming Morris rides over the hill, her hair whipping in the wind, her heart racing faster than her horse. She hasn't seen Heartland in months. She told herself she was too busy, that she had competitions, sponsors, schedules, but deep down, she knows why she's come back. Something's been calling her home. The moment she crosses the familiar fence line, a wave of emotion hits her. Every tree, every field, every breath of this land carries a memory of laughter, of family, of Ty teaching her to believe in herself when no one else did. She remembers those evenings when Amy and Ty stood side by side, watching her ride, smiling with pride. Georgie wipes at her eyes, trying to hide the tears even though no one's around to see them. She's not the fearless girl she once was. The world outside Heartland has hardened her, made her tougher. But here, she feels small again. Human again. When she reaches the barn, she spots Amy standing near Spartan, brushing him slowly, lost in thought. There's something different about Amy, softer, lighter, like the weight she's carried for so long has finally lifted. Georgie dismounts and hesitates, unsure how to start. But before she can say a word, Amy turns, her eyes already glistening. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Years of distance melt away in that silence. Then Amy steps forward, and Georgie does too, until they're in each other's arms, holding on like they've both been waiting for this moment forever. Amy's voice trembles as she says, "You came home." Georgie nods against her shoulder. "I had to. I don't know why, but I just felt like I needed to be here." Amy smiles through her tears. "I think Ty brought you back." Georgie pulls away, confused. "Ty?" Amy nods slowly, glancing toward the open door where the morning light spills in. "He's been here, Georgie." "Not the way we wish, but I've felt him. I've heard him. And I think he's been trying to bring us all together again." At first, Georgie wants to brush it off, to tell Amy that it's just her grief talking. But then she feels it too, that quiet energy in the air, that warmth that seems to wrap around them like sunlight. She looks around the barn at the tools, the dust, the horses, and realizes everything feels alive again. The sadness that once clung to this place has lifted. Heartland feels whole. They spend the day together, working side by side the way they used to. Fixing fences, feeding the horses, sharing stories about Ty. Not the tragic memories, but the happy ones. His terrible jokes, his patience, the way he could calm even the wildest horse. They laugh until they cry, and for the first time, it feels like remembering doesn't hurt anymore. It heals later. As the sun begins to set, Amy and Georgie walk out to the clearing, the one Amy rode to the night before. The air is still, golden, peaceful. They sit side by side on the grass, watching the horizon. The silence between them is filled with everything words can't say. Georgie finally breaks it. "Do you really think he's out there, watching us?" Amy smiles softly, eyes fixed on the fading light. "I don't just think it, I know it. Every time I ride, every time I look at Lindy, I see him. He's not gone, Georgie. He's just changed." For a long moment, neither of them speaks. The sky turns shades of orange and pink, and the wind moves gently through the grass. Then, suddenly, Spartan lifts his head and neighs toward the hills. Both women look up. In the distance, a single white horse runs across the ridge, wild, free, bathed in the glow of the setting sun. It disappears behind the hill, leaving only the echo of its gallop. Amy smiles, her heart swelling with peace. "That was his sign," she whispers. "He's telling us to keep going." Georgie's eyes fill with tears, but they're not from sadness. They're from understanding. She reaches over and squeezes Amy's hand. "Then let's keep going." For him, as darkness settles over Heartland, the ranch lights flicker on, warm, golden, alive. The laughter of the family drifts through the night as Amy, Georgie, and little Lindy sit together by the porch, watching the stars. For the first time in a long time, the air feels still, complete. Like the world has taken a deep breath and exhaled peace, somewhere in that stillness. Amy swears she hears Ty's voice, faint but certain, carried by the wind. "You're home." "Amy, you both are," she smiles, her heart full. Because even though he's gone from sight, he'll never be gone from Heartland. He lives in the land, in their laughter, in every heartbeat that refuses to give up on love. And as the night deepens, the camera drifts up over the glowing ranch, the stars shimmering above. The story that began with heartbreak now ends with healing, a quiet reminder that love, real love, doesn't fade. It finds new ways to stay, always.